All right, guys, there we go. Finally, this date came, January 31st. I know a lot of you have been just so anxious to come to this webinar and get all the benefits from it. And I'm also excited. I'm also excited to see you guys. I see that you start picking up the room, the virtual room, and of course, we're gonna have a really quality time today speaking about how you can boost your income. X3 is probably the very pessimistic way to say it, probably much more. And of course, we're going to be talking about the talent visas and the ways to immigrate or come to work to the US in 2024. And we will spend about 1 hour together and it's going to be a lot of dense material. It's going to be a lot of new material, the new cases. So if some of you came to such webinars in the past, it's going to be very like new material, new cases, new examples. So stay tuned and get ready to go through this great webinar. All right. So what you will learn today, most promising talent visas in 2024. And what are those? Exactly what you see on the screen. Those are O1 visa, EB1A visa, and EB2 NIW visas. All right, so we will combine O1 and EB1 in the same part of the presentation of the webinar. And of course, EB2 NIW is going to be separate. Why? Because EB1A and O1 criteria are the same. And EB2 and IW is a little bit different animal, so we need to cook it separately. Of course, you will be able to ask me questions. And by the way, drop down right now your concerns, your questions. If you want me to speak more about certain things in particular, if you want me to speak about something I didn't mention yet, we're going to be talking about. So put your thoughts, put in the comment section what you expect, and I will be also looking at those comments and see if this is something I want to incorporate in this presentation. All right, so let's move on. Of course, you will have the real-time examples of our clients getting approvals, and guys, we send on average 30 cases a month. Okay, so that means every month we get to know 30 more clients who trust my company and trust their lives and cases and the future. And of course, this is a great responsibility which we take serious. And with this being said, we get a lot of new cases approved. We have like fresh approvals just yesterday, the day before yesterday. Almost every day we get some new cases, and I'm happy to share them with you. Those of you who are the most motivated, those who really want to get benefit and really serious about coming to the US, you guys will get some gifts from me. Gift number one, you will learn about what is a free evaluation of your case and how you can get it. And of course, I do believe this is one of the most important things to do after the webinar, okay, to get your free evaluation. I will tell you more how to get that at the end of the webinar, and you will definitely need to follow up the steps to get this analysis of your case from me for free, okay? And that's gonna happen within 2 days. So those of you who are gonna fill out the questionnaires today, you will get analysis of your case this week. Okay, because today is Wednesday, so we'll get 2 full days to work on the initial analysis. And also, gift number 2, guides on how to get a US talent visa. And guys, this is not something, you know, some copy paste from USCIS. No, this is a serious document. I personally worked for some time, and it's getting improved day by day, month by month, if we see something new coming up. And you will get this document also at the end of this webinar, so stay tuned. Of course, I do recommend you guys focus, because we're gonna be nice and smooth, spending 1 hour together, and usually I spend an hour and a half with you. Today we're gonna be more efficient and more effective. So please make sure that first of all you take notes, and nothing else bothers you. Okay. I would like it to be by yourself in your room, or some our clients say that a bathroom and a closet are the top 2 spots in a house or an apartment, so nobody bothers them, and that's maybe for some of you that's the way to go. If you have a bigger place, then of course the best way to be isolated, so you could put all your attention in this, because we know the attention span in this crazy world is very narrow with the TikTok videos, and we need to spend an hour together. Alright guys, so those of you who don't know me, I'm happy to introduce myself. Those of you who do, it's a good refreshment, okay? So you know that you work with the professionals. So my name is Stanislav Shamayev. I'm an experienced business immigration and corporate attorney here in Florida in my company Shamayev Business Law. We have helped already more than 2,500 people all over the world from more than 50 countries to get their petitions and visas approved. Okay, and we've been in business a little bit over 8 years in my company, and we grew from 1 employee to 120, all right, for a very short period of time. And also, I'm a member of Florida State and Broward County Bar Associations. I'm also a member of Florida Courts of Appeals and the 11th Federal District Court of Appeals. And of course, I'm a member of AILA, one of the biggest immigration associations in Florida. Guys, all we do here is striving for success for you. Okay, that's all we need to do. And what stand us out? Why you should, guys, consider us as your attorneys, as the company who's gonna guide your way to come to the US. On top of the reasons that I already mentioned, we are specializing in a very narrow field of the immigration law. Okay, we're not the company who's gonna take the asylum cases, deportation cases, family, fiance visa, all this craziness. We don't do this. Okay, we focus on investment and business visas, on talent visas and work visas. Okay, that's all we do all day, every day. So I can tell that with this specialization for these visas is very, very deep. All right. So, like I said, guys, you've been kind of silent. I guess everything I explained works out for you. But again, drop in the comment section what do you want to know. Maybe you want to learn something besides what I already talked about. So make sure that you do this, because looking at what you guys want, I can always be flexible and see how I can change the way I present information so it works out first of all for you, because I know all of that and this webinar is specifically for you. And you can do this at any time, okay? So let's start with good news. Our just very recent cases that we got approved. So case number 1 is EB1A case for talented PR specialist. So that's the person who actually promotes businesses and persons. So the client is from Russia, okay? And she's been working on her case for about 5 to 6 months, and she basically fulfilled the strategy that I prepared for her in the beginning of the case, okay? And we satisfied 6 criteria, okay? I think the biggest one in her petition was the contribution in the field, because she created the methodology of how to best work with her clients and best promote them in the online, okay? And she has a track record that methodology worked, all right? And she got her approved for 8 days, which is a great result. You know, it's not the record. The record for us is 1 day approval for the petition, but 8 days is pretty good, provided that we get 15 days maximum to get the approval. And the second case is EB2NW visa, and you guys see the name of the client. Why? And you're like, Stanislav, oh my God, I thought everything is confidential. Of course, you guys, everything between you and me in your cases is better, is more safe than in a bank, okay? But some of our clients, they openly our clients, okay? So basically they go in the public and say, hey, we work with Stanislav and his team, and we have the interview, we have everything, we talk about it. So that means that we don't have to hide the name. So Leonardo Rojas, engineer from Uruguay. He's in space engineering. He's working with the satellites, and his proposed endeavor was working with American companies to test the vibration, do the vibration testing for the satellites. Okay, and the difficulty in his case was that his education was not in a space engineering, not even in a mechanical engineering, which would be pretty close, you know, like doing some mechanisms, but his education was in a chemical engineering. So he's basically engineering chemistry, all right? And it was kind of challenging to prove to the immigration officer that the chemical engineer is actually very close to the actual things that he has been doing in his career and the future project in the US. But we did great, okay? We did great, and Leo got approval without request for evidence, really fast. Great case. You guys can see his review of his work with my company, with myself, with his case on my YouTube channel. Okay, so make sure you watch those clients' reviews so you could see that everything is real. All right, so let's move on. Let's start with the O1 talent visa, and we're gonna speak about O1 in common, what that visa means. Then we're gonna switch to EB1A visa, and then we're gonna be talking about the criteria for both O1 and EB1A. And mind, guys, that we are not going to cover O1B visa today, only O1A and EB1A. Why? Because O1B is for art, movies, and TV, maybe some for influencers and content creators. So, and it has a little different touch to it, a little different criteria. So, because that's still kind of connected to everything, but different approach. So because we're limited with time and I want to give you like straightforward the best things that you need to know, we're gonna skip O1B and just focus on O1A and EB1A, all right? And maybe if you guys request, someday we'll do just one full webinar on O1B just separately. All right, so O1 visa is a non-immigrant work visa, all right? What it gives you the opportunity to live and work in the US, okay? It's a visa for 3 years, so up to 3 years you can get an approval, and you can extend this visa by a year indefinitely, all right? So it's a pretty good start for many of our clients. It's a fast and relatively easy way to come to the States and then see other available options. Okay, so what are the benefits of O1 visa? Well, work and travel definitely is a huge benefit because you guys know how it's difficult to get the tourist visa to come and travel, and to work it's almost impossible. Also, all the dependents, so your spouse and the kids under 21 years old, will be able to come with you and stay here. Your kids will be able to go to American school for free. Unfortunately, the spouse cannot work, okay? Only you, the one who has the O1A approval, will be able to work. Also, like I said, 3 years initial, which is a pretty long time, and extending it forever for by 1 year. But let me tell you guys, let me tell you this: for years and years of my practice, I can count by the fingers of my hand how many O1 visas we extended. Why? Because all the rest got the green cards. Okay, this way or the other. Most often it's EB1A, so switched from O1 is EB1A, EB2 NIW, EB2, EB3 through labor certification, or even in some cases EB5, when a client came to the States, started working, started making really good money through his own business, and then invested enough money to get EB5. And you guys know the minimum investment for EB5 is $800,000, okay? Which is, for me, is a great showcase that you guys can make this type of money here in the US. And that's not X3, it's like X20 or 30, whatever. I don't know your salaries, but it's much, much more. Further, we need to meet only 3 criteria out of the 8 in O1 visa. And between you and me, guys, I do believe that I'm a Russian speaking, right? My first language is Russian, and we have that expression in Russian. I didn't find the equivalent in English yet, so maybe you guys can help me. It sounds like you can make a porridge out of the X, or like a hammer, right? So basically, that's I guess you understand the connotation behind it. So you can make a porridge out of the hammer, basically. So you can make O1 visa out of almost nothing, right? I mean, nothing is probably not the proper term, but if you have certain things in your career, like you make good money, or you worked in a company with a good reputation, or your company is with a good reputation, that already sounds to me like 2 criteria for O1, and we can work on the petition to make it 5, maybe even 6. Okay, so what I'm trying to say with this, that O1 visa is probably one of the easiest visas relative to other visas in the US. Okay, and I'm talking about work visas. Okay, I'm not talking about F1 and B. No, I'm talking about when you can come and work. So also, like I said, there's a really good switch from O1 to EB1A, and I would say probably around 60 to 70% of our clients are switching from O1 to EB1A. Okay, so there's a straightforward way, and it's a dual intent visa. It's not pure dual intent visa like L1 or H1B, but it has the components of dual intent, and that's what makes it easier to pave the way to your residency, to your green card. Okay, so now let's switch to EB1A, employment-based visa. And guys, every time you hear when visa starts with 2 letters, EB, that means employment-based, okay? That means that this is an immigrant visa. And when you hear an immigrant visa, that means it's a green card, all right? Yes, it's called visa because you still get a stamp in the passport if you go through the embassy. But in fact, it's a green card because when you get your immigrant visa and the passport and you come to the US and cross the border with CBP, you get your stamp in the passport with the green card. And first it looks like a blue stamp and it's kind of weird, like, is it my green card? Yeah, the first couple of months you're gonna use it as a green card and it has the full benefits. In a couple of months when you after you enter the US, you're gonna get the physical green card, okay? So don't like go crazy, oh my god, where is my green card? You're gonna get it by mail, okay? So that's the way the immigrant visa works once you get it in your passport. And guys, show me your engagement, show me your motivation. Let's do a fast exercise. That blue stamp in your passport, it's called I-4 I-551 form. Okay, I-551. So let's do this. Those of you who can visualize coming to the US sometime in future, maybe 6 months, maybe a year from now, and you can see the immigration officer, the CBP officer stamping your passport with the I-551 stamp. Put those numbers in the comment section. So let's do this, guys. Everyone, let me start. 551. Let's put it in the chat. So let's see how much you guys motivated. Okay, let's see how many of you visualize getting your green card stamp on your passport. Okay, let's see how many of you are gonna do this. So those who doesn't do this, you guys just don't see you getting the green card. All right, so let's see how it's gonna go. All right, so what EB-1A visa allows you, and let's do this. I'm not gonna exhaust you with explaining what a green card. Guys, green card is basically your way to get a passport, the US citizenship, and it gives you all the rights. Rights to travel, rights to live, rights to work, rights to change the jobs, and even in some instances to vote in certain local elections. Okay, yes, you still cannot vote for the president, for the Senate, for the Congress, but that's coming in 5 years. All right, and when you get approval for EB-1A, that means that your whole family is gonna get the green card. Okay, who's your family? It's you, your spouse, and your children below 21 years old. So we're not gonna waste our time here. Let's go straight to the requirements. All right, so we're gonna have 8 requirements to talk about, because yes, EB-1A gets 10 criteria, but the last 2 criteria, number 9 and number 10, are for the art. And this is a very narrow thing, so just know, if you are in the art, you're like artist, or you dancer, or you photographer, whatever, okay, you get 2 additional criteria, which is a great news. Okay, that means that you can make things happen even better. So I want to see awards, guys. Show me awards, the awards that have national or international recognition. Okay, meaning it's a good prestigious award in your country or internationally. All right, and that must be in your field. Number 2, media coverage. For EB-1A, I want to see about 4 to 5 articles about you in the newspapers, professional magazines, professional journals, maybe TV shows, maybe radio. Okay, so all that is a media coverage. And what I want from the newspapers, and usually it's a website. Okay, nobody's printing the newspapers today. Everybody has the news on the website. So I want to see that if it's a national news, I want to see the coverage of about 15, maybe to 20% of the population of your country. And it's not black and white, oh, it's 14%. No, if it's 10%, but it's a well-known website and a medium for the news, we can work with this. All right, no problem. But it must be a big newspaper, okay? Not like local, not city newspaper, not municipal. It gotta have national coverage. Example in the US, like US Today, New York Times, Los Angeles Times, Washington Post. Those are big, famous news outlets. So something like that gotta cover your work and you in your country. Or the professional media. What's the difference between national and professional? National is a big coverage. Professional is for people who are in your field. Okay, so let's say you're an engineer and there is a journal for engineers, and Stanislav is not gonna read it, Alexander is not gonna read it, Gabriela is not gonna read it, Ramans is not gonna read it, but all those engineers are gonna read it. Okay, so that means it's a professional press, which is really good. And remember, 3 other criteria for the press: the name of the article, so the title, the date when it was published, and guys, most important, the author, the name of the journalist. Okay, the third one, crucial. It may be the best magazine in your country. It has the title, it's about you in the project, it's about everything that we need, and there is no author. No author, not gonna satisfy this criterion. All right. So for EB1A, I want to see 4 to 5. And you guys, of course, gonna work with the PR agencies that we're gonna recommend you, and they're gonna help you out with that. For O1, 3 to 4. Okay, 3 to 4 articles is gonna do it. The third one are the published article. And guys, don't mix the two. There's a lot of confusion. Oh, the press. Stanislav, I get the press. Here's my article. Well, it's not the press. It's your article, your publication. When you, the author. Okay, that's a separate criterion. So what I want to see? I want to see scientific or academic publications. Okay, how many? 3 to 4. Okay, if it's O1, maybe 2, 3 will do it. If it's EB1A, give me 3 to 4. Okay, and if you have not done those yet, again, working with professional companies, our partners, they can help you to do it faster than you could have done it yourself. Okay, and Lejla says, read my art, and I'm like, what are we talking about here? Where is the art? Let's send it in the chat, Lejla. I'll definitely take a look. Okay, let's see the question from YouTube, because we have it streaming on YouTube, and of course, you guys who registered for the live storm, you get to ask the questions directly, and people from YouTube can only send through my team the questions. Dexpel. I have heard it's not pure dual intent, so coming on a one-way ticket would be an issue, and we do get an SSN for this visa, right? Dexpel, right? So basically your question probably was before I explained that yes, O1 is not a pure dual intent visa. So basically we still have to prove that we have some attachment to the country where we're from. That this is correct. This is 100% true, and definitely we're gonna get the SSN. Absolutely. So once you get O1 visa, you will be able to get the SSN and all the benefits that SSN gives. And I think one of the best one is starting building your credit history. Boom, 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 boom. So you could have access to cheap money in the future when the central bank is gonna cut the rates. Okay, and cheap money means the lower interest rate on the loans, on the credits. So yes, good question, Dexpel, very good question. Okay, Alexander, how old can be these published articles be? 10, 15 years? Yes, great question, guys. And let's make it not only about articles, but also about any achievements that we have. They could be as old as Jurassic period, okay? We can have drawings in the caveman place on the wall as an art. Maybe Miss Besirovich, maybe that's what we're talking about, right? Doesn't really matter. As long as we, all this time, we've been in this industry, okay? So let's say, Alexander, you have the article from 15 years ago on IT, on artificial intelligence, or whatever it is, and you still are an IT specialist and working on artificial intelligence. So we will be able to draw those articles from the past and use them right now in the present. Okay, good question. If we have a gap or we do something else, then yes, all the recognition and awards and the media, whatever, it's out of the picture. Okay, and Lejla says, I will send you Stanislav. Please do, we'll take a look. Ramons, for visa, at what should be done for the engagement or a marriage visa? Ramons, that's that's beyond the scope of today's webinar. We're talking about talent visa. So, and like I said, we specialize. So I'm not qualified to even answer your question. And I'm sorry. I can recommend good family immigration attorneys if you want to. They will explain everything to you. Okay, last question from at this point, and we'll go back to the criteria. Dania, I have my own LLC. You said you can hire yourself for O1 visa. Yes, absolutely. Because O1 visa requires an employer, and sometimes you cannot find an employer, you can register your own LLC, and that company is going to play a role of your employer. But now I read that you cannot do that if you own the company 100%. What's to do? Make a board? Not quite so. Not quite so, Dania. You can be a 100% owner of this company, and I have a lot of cases where we use that legal scheme, and it's a legal scheme, and there's no problem with that. But and you're right that if you own 100%, you have to have either a board of directors or advisory board, likely for LLC, where they have the power to hire, at least to hire and fire employees. And you could be one of those people on the board. So it's like, usually I like to make like 3 people, you and 2 other people. They don't have to be Americans, they could be from your country, but they are there and they're the ones to make the decision. So that way we separate the conflict of interest in the company. Okay, so yeah, there's a way out of it. Okay, number four, a leading or critical role in the company. What's the difference between leading and critical role? Leading is when you control and direct. Critical is when you do an important function in the company. Okay, so that's the difference. And of course, one of the most important things in this criterion is the reputation of the company. The company must have a distinguished high reputation within the field. Okay, it doesn't mean that it should be nationally recognized company or internationally. If that's the case, it's great. But most of our companies we work with, they have reputation within the industry. Okay, so I don't know, I may not know about them, Marco may not know, Dania may not know about them, but people within that industry, let's say in business or finance, they know about this company. So that means they have a distinguished reputation. So how do we prove the critical or leading role? It's a letter from the company, okay, explaining what exactly you've done, and it could be your own company, by the way, and what are the results of your work. Okay, and also recommendation letters, guys. It's not a criterion, but we always do them. About 15 recommendation letters for each petition. Judging. 2 ways to prove judging, and there's more, but I'm going to focus on 2. Number 1, there is a competition in your professional field, and you are asked to actually judge, to be an expert, and to choose who is a winner. So this is the classic way. And by the way, guys, mind that for this to be accepted, the competition does not have to be nationally recognized. And again, it's always good to have that, but the most important component is that you were assessing the work of other professionals. Okay? So that's the most important thing. And also a letter from the organizers of the event. Also editorial boards, picking and choose the articles to be published, picking and choose who is going to be speaking at the conferences, being on a committee for master's degree, thesis or dissertation or things like that, accepting the final exams for professionals. And professionals are those who already have at least bachelor's degree. Okay, so anything above, master's, a PhD, whatever, that's good enough. But also, guys, do not forget or remember that even assessing the work of other professionals within your company where you work, also judging is going to be accepted as judging. All right, so that's an alternative way. So for example, the company asks you once a month to review the work of other IT people or data analysts, whatever you do, okay? And you do the review, and you review the professional skills, not the soft skills, okay? Not communication, but the professional skills. So that could be also judging. Or a company hires you to do the audit of their professionals. That's also judging the work of others. Okay, so make sure you use those two. Contribution to the industry. Two components. And oh man, this mistake is always in my presentation. It's not to the industry; it's in the industry. And you know, actually, I'm kind of happy. I'm kind of happy that this crawls in the presentation all the time, because this mistake is usually done by immigration officers when they analyze the contribution in the field, in the industry. Because for those of you guys who is the native English speaker, or if you've been speaking English for a long time, you know the difference between to the industry and in the industry, right? To the industry is to the whole field. Oh, imagine that's like, it's so high. We need to prove a lot of things. But in the industry, that's somewhere inside of the industry. We did something that affected. Okay, so very important difference. Two components. It must be new, innovative. Okay, something new that you've done, and it must be significant. So what's significance? Well, it's being used by others. That's how we measure the significance of contribution. What could it be? It could be a methodology. It could be a method, maybe a technique, maybe approach. Maybe you have a course, educational course, and you teach other professionals. Maybe you created some application. Maybe you created some website, or maybe open source code, or maybe you have a patent. Or maybe you speak in a lot of conferences and you bring a lot of good to the industry. Okay, so a lot of ways to prove contribution in the field. Sometimes even dissertation or a publication with a lot of citations could be in a contribution. And of course, a book. A book is most of the times a contribution. Professional association, guys, one of the rarest criterion to prove. Okay, it must be professional association who has a charter or bylaws that say that they accept people only for outstanding achievements. Okay, like big recognition. And that's number one. Number two, the people who make the assessment for the new members, they are also experts on the national level of your country. Okay, so you see how high is the requirement for this criterion. So don't worry if you don't have that. That's not a problem. And the last but not least is a commercial success. So you need to make more money than other similarly situated professionals in your field in your geographical location. Okay, very important. Not in the whole country, not in the world, not in the US, but in your geographical location. So basically the city where you're from. So if you're from Bogota or Paris or Istanbul, whatever the city you're from, we watch there. We look what's going on there. Sometimes there are difficulties because like IT people, they live in one place, work in different. So we work with you. We see what best represents your interest. Okay. How much more your salary has to be? Well, I like twice or three times as more. Okay. I know it's not always the case, but by law, we can already start making such arguments with 20 to 30% more than average good professional in your geographical location in your field. But show me something more significant, and I like to have it more. Now, let's talk about the recipe for between O1, successful O1 case and EB1A. So for O1 case, I want to see 5 criteria. For EB1, I want to have 6 or more. What are those criteria? For O1 visa, you gotta give me critical role, one critical leading role, your income higher than others. Give me 3 to 4 articles in the media about you and your projects. Give me a few your own publications, maybe 2 to 3, and give me 1 out of the 3. 1 award, or 1 judging the work of others, or 1 contribution in the industry. Okay? So 4, the ones I mentioned, and 1 out of the 3. If you give me association, no problem, we'll take it, but I don't even give you this option because I know it's going to be hard. So that's the good case for O1 visa, right? For EB1A, give me either 1 award or 2 judging of the work of others. Give me 4, 5 articles in the press about you. Give me 1 contribution in the field, 2 critical leading roles in the companies with high reputation, salary, and 3 to 4 articles, scientific or academic. Okay, 6 criteria. So those are the criteria I want to see. And again, it's not that you already come to me with all this ready. Okay, you can come with me with 1, 2, 3. And 2 is not 2AWO, but 2O is a particle, right? From 1 to 3 criteria, and we can already start working on your case, depending on certain things, okay? So don't be discouraged, like, oh my God, I don't have 6 criteria, no problem. If you have 2, and the solid ones, we can work on your case later on. Okay, guys, expert opinion letters. Crucial things in your case, and you cannot get those letters by yourself. There's no people who can give it to you, or those who can are very expensive, and the cost of 1 expert opinion letter is about $1,500. Okay, so $1,500, maybe $2,000. If you work with my company, we have a NEO program where we could get you up to 4 expert opinion letters on your case within the company. And the way it works, we'll find the same profession, same talent, or a similar project as you have, and you exchange with those clients those letters. So you and them are independent experts to the cases of each other. Okay? And you are talented, or you have expertise, so those letters are really, really strong. So this is a huge benefit if you guys and when you guys work with my company, because expert opinion letters really play a huge role in the petitions. Okay, I kind of mentioned that. Recommendation letters are kind of also expert opinion letters, but because they usually come from your side, they get less weight as opposed to the independent expert opinion letters, right? The ones you get through us. But still, we need to have a bunch of recommendation letters, like I said, 15 altogether. So let me mention a few cases that we got approved. O1 case for our client Zuo Bruno, and you guys can again, because there's the name, so he's an open client, and he also has a review of working with us on YouTube. You can watch it at any time. He's from Cameroon, freshly approved O1 case for business, and again, that was his own company. Going back to the question of Dania, right? It was his own company, so he got it O1A approved, and actually this week we already filing EB1A for Bruno. Okay, so that's the way to go, guys. That's the way to go. Next webinar, you're probably gonna get the update that Bruno got approval for his green card. And recent approval for O1 case, our marketing specialist Camila from Brazil. So I think the big success of her case is that because she worked for Facebook for a couple of years, but the difficulty in her case was that she came to us end of July, and her status was expiring like the beginning of September. So we were very narrow on time. Basically like 1 month to go through her case, get it completely straightforward, file it, and get it approved. And again, who was the employer? You guys guess it. That was her own company. Okay, so that's another case where O1 was approved successfully for a company of our client. And really fast, because I don't wanna exhaust you guys with our cases, because we have a lot. I can talk all day long. We get a really nice CB1 case for crypto analyst from Ukraine. Very hard case, very innovative on the 5 criteria in that case. We got an RFE. We used YouTube Express as a creative argument. We used this Discord and Telegram groups as associations. We managed to prove that very hard case because it's a new industry. There is no specialist, very hard to explain. And but the immigration officer agreed with us, got the green card. And the last one, precision shooter from Kazakhstan. Also interesting case because he beat the American team back in the day. And when we got an RFE from immigration officer, like, hey, how do we know this guy is one of the best? I told him, look, he beat your guy in the competition in the US. Okay, so what other proof you want to have? So yeah, a bunch of really good cases. We're gonna switch real quick to EB2 and AW, guys, because like I said, we're gonna be fast and smooth. Let's see a few questions. Ramon, I want to explain me about the visa. Yes, Ramon, so you're gonna get the contact for my company. Ask the question, like Stanislav told me to get a contact of other immigration attorneys. I'll be happy to share it with you. Marco, so if I open an LLC, I can get a permanent visa to work and live in the US. Not straightforward like this, Marco. You first need to use it as your employer for O1 visa, come to the US, prove your case for the immigrant visa, and then yes. So it's a 2-step process. Alexander, will it be accepted as judgment if I judge professionals who are my reports? Yes, Alexander, that's what I was trying to explain. Basically, even if they are your people who report to you, but you have to review their work and report back to the management of the company, that's judging also. How to know official average income in my location, which sources will be treated as official by officer? Well, the government statistics is number one. Each country has it. Trust me on that. Open sources like Glassdoor and other websites to look for the jobs, also a good source. And also official audits of the profession could be a good source. Kekasha Saba. Would you repeat how many recommendation letters required? Yes, about 15. 15. Whoa. Opeolua. Sounds like the names of our clients from Nigeria, and I love my Nigerian clients. They are nice, great names, very unique. How can me and my husband get family visa or work visa? Well, that's what we're talking about today. All right, so let's go to EB2 and IW, guys, and we're gonna skip all the benefits. We all know it's a green card. So EB2 and IW is pretty much a visa for the STEM category, okay, for STEM. And what is STEM? Science, technology, engineering, and math, okay? So if you within those categories, then EB2 and IW is one of the best options, especially if you have the education. And here we go. Let's talk about the criteria straightforward. So the pre-qualification, and guys, a lot of you probably not too many who come and to my webinars and watch my YouTube and on my Instagram. You guys know, but a lot of people beyond that think that once you have the proper education or exceptional ability, that's it. You will be given EB2NIW green card. That's only the first step. That's very far from the end. So yes, we need to have either bachelor's degree and 5 years of experience in the field, in the specialty, or a master's degree, okay? And if we don't have any of those, then we have to prove the exceptional ability, right? And you can see that on the screen. We have 6 criteria, and there's 7th one, the alternative. So we need to meet 3 of them, and that's going to be alternative to education. And you know, if you ask me, probably 30% of the cases we file for EB2NIW, we use the exceptional ability instead of the education. In the case of Leo Rojas, the EB2NIW for the satellites, we used both his education and his exceptional ability in alternative, in case officer has some doubts. And of course, we need to have the proposed endeavor, proposed projects in the US that resolve some problem. Okay, so we need to be coming to the US, and we should propose a resolution or solution to some existing problem in the USA that's in the national interest of the country. Okay, so that's in a nutshell. And also, all our past experiences, our education, our work, our projects, our conferences, our publications, they all should support that we are well positioned to implement what we are promising to the US government. Okay, so EB2NIW is not as complicated as you may think. So basically, you got the education. You've been working on your within your education specialty for some time. You got some experience. You've completed some projects, and you have an idea how you can transfer your experience from your country in the US and offer solutions to some problems that this country has. Okay, that's all the EB2NIW is about. Okay, more case studies. And I'll say with the second one, EB2NIW case for a talented engineer from Israel. Okay, our client worked in the production in factories, and he was engineer who was optimizing the processes in those factories. And so he had an education as engineer. He worked like for 10-15 years in factories, helping them to optimize the processes. And his proposed endeavor in the US was opening up a consulting services in the US to help the American factories to optimize the processes. Okay, that's all. That's all what it is. And he got an approval pretty fast. And the other one, the flower entrepreneur, you guys will be surprised, like what? Like, what do you mean? Like the flower shop got EB2NIW? How? Well, because they worked with Stanislav, and we know exactly what we need. And it's a very complicated case, guys. We started with L1. We got a denial for L1, and I think it was unfair denial, but we kept working with the client. We filed for EB2NIW for her flower shops that she had already a bunch of them in the States on L1 visa, and we were able to prove that she would be able to grow her business with franchising it, and she already got some offers from the US businesses, and each shop employed 5 employees. So we were able to show that we already have 10 employees in 2 shops, and there is the third one opening, and the franchise is being developed. So the economical interest, okay? And also she wanted to bring the peonies, and the peonies was her specialty, right? This special type of the flower, this round, like thick, nice, beautiful flower, to grow those flowers here in the US, because as of today they are imported from New Zealand. Okay, so that was for a proposed endeavor. A very, very nice case. And I have like a fresh EB2NW also in business with art. Nice case. We don't have time to cover it, guys. So EB1C, guys, no time for that, unfortunately. EB1C is for those of you who have a company outside of the US. You have 15 plus employees under your control, and you want to open up, and you have either an existing business in the US, or you want to purchase a business, and you can transfer yourself as a manager from one company to the other and get a green card. All right, that was pretty smooth. I should compliment myself. I think I did great. So now, guys, the QR code, you can either screenshot it or just use your phone to contact my team to ask questions. And that's going to be WhatsApp communication. So do the screenshot, or just take and just go by your camera. Also, guys, free evaluation for all the visas, okay? O1, EB1A, EB2NW. So screenshot it or use your phone to do it right now, guys. I expect you to fill out the form right now, so by the Friday I'm back to you with the analysis, okay? And don't waste your time. Don't wait till weekend, don't wait till Easter. That's all BS. Just do it right now. And of course, you can download the guide I promised you. Please use the QR code or screenshot it. And also, I dropped the link to the guide, okay, in the comment section. So please use it. Okay, let's have a few Q&A, a few questions. We have like 4 minutes. And also you guys can follow me on all the platforms. They're all in English, so don't miss this opportunity. Let's see what we got here. Okay, Alexander, how many times RFA can be RFE can be requested? If the case is rejected, then how long to wait to reapply next time? Okay, so usually it's 1 time for request for evidence. I've seen 2 a few times in my career when the officer was like in doubt and he would send in the second one. So yeah, usually 1, rarely 2, and you can apply right away. Alexander, you can reapply right after the decision. Is it possible to apply in parallel for green card and talent visa? So I guess if you're asking like O1 and EB1A, yes, we can do that. Or you can apply even EB1A and EB2 in NW at the same time, no problem. Is it possible to apply for a talent visa while visiting US on a tourist visa? Absolutely, Alexander. And by your name, Alexander, I think you're from Ukraine. So if you are in the US on U4U, you then should switch to TPS. And from TPS, there is a way to adjust to the green card, not work visa. So no O1, no E2, no L1, but EB1A, EB2, and AW. Okay, so also guys, if you cannot use the QR codes, there are the links to the free evaluation form. I'm dropping you them in the chat, so click on them and fill them out right now. Sabah, would it be a problem if this application done while staying in the US on F1 visa? No problem. Just similar question to Alexander. Alexander, is it possible to apply in parallel for green card and talent visa? Here I mean green card lottery. Yes, absolutely, guys. Green card lottery is not going to change anything, but trust me on the thing that green card lottery, maybe your chances are 0.001, something around those lines. Okay, so if you work with my company, the chance of approval, if I take your case, is 90% or more, depending on the visa. So 90% versus 0.001, I guess that's not very much. 3. will it impact existing EB2 application if EB1A is rejected? How many times we can apply for EB1A? Yes, good question. And let me make the second guess. 3. You are from India. You are on H1B visa and you have an approval of EB2 visa and you're considering switching to EB1A. Am I right? And I'm pretty sure I am. Yes. So, 3, we've done a lot of cases like this. Okay, and a lot of your comrades, your people from India already got the green cards from us in the same situation. And as of today, I'm leading about 10 cases like that in the same situation. So first of all, we got all of them approved, okay? Because you guys really good with EB1As. And second of all, we were able to transfer the priority date from your EB2 approval to EB1 and get you the green card. Okay, so make sure you fill out the EB1A free evaluation form. If I see, guys, that you have the potential after free evaluation, and most of you will, I will invite you to the complex immigration planning, where we will meet on a Zoom. First you will meet with the data manager, then you will meet with me, and I will build the strategy in writing for your cases. Okay. All right, guys, so I hope it was very good for you. I enjoyed this webinar. The next one is going to be probably in a month, maybe even more. So get your questions together. I wish you guys good luck. I'm Stanislav Shamaev, a lawyer of the future. Your future begins here. Good luck.